Ujai, and welcome to the Gated Gates podcast. Before we get started, I just want to take the time to acknowledge the forces in the non-material. Like to acknowledge all the ancestors that are standing behind this great work, all the ancestors that are standing behind the Earth Center, my ancestors, her ancestors, his ancestors, everybody's ancestors that's tuning in, everybody that's a part of this work, and all of the powers of nature that are supporting this work and standing behind this work, and also the founder of the Earth Center, Nebnabal Musa Moradinabig, for opening up the doorways back into the traditions and the African spirituality in terms of all of the things that have been hidden within the Dogon temples and all of the hidden temples and all of those things. My name is Henista Heqwabti. I am the host and the co-host of for a second I forgot where I was. Gated Gates.
My name is Henista Heqwabti, the co-host whose name he just suddenly forgot.
I fought for you though when the producers were like, "Can we switch it up?" Like
Absolutely not.
I fought for you. I was like, "You guys are trying to kick the co-host off of the show." I'm like, "You can't do that."
So to my knowledge, this podcast was the idea of two people.
Exactly.
So and the very two people that are sitting here. So yeah.
I mean, other people had ideas too, but
Okay,
but
I am
yeah,
Henista
yeah,
Heqwabti.
go ahead. We have our token pregnant lady on the show today.
I'm
She's
the
like,
token.
so,
I'm
yeah,
not the first one.
No, you're not. But you're token because our other token pregnant lady just gave birth.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're-
all right.
you're
So
token for
yeah,
now.
yeah. And then we have Blue.
Yeah, and then we have.
After me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So then once
Yeah.
but you're supposed to give birth soon. But let's not talk about your pregnancy too much because we don't want people to project weird energies onto you.
They better not.
Exactly. Send it back. Word from our sponsor, Sauce Hot Sauce. Began in 2007 when a small group of students traveling in West Africa were trying to think of ways to support charitable projects. One of the students traveling happened to be an artisanal hot sauce chef, and right there, Sauce Hot Sauce was born. Since then, Sauce Hot Sauce has prided itself on making exceptional artisan hot sauces with high-quality ingredients to support good causes. We continue to do this with the best and tastiest offerings of sauce flavors to date, with a focus on supporting displaced families in the Fada and Gurma region of Burkina Faso with the revenue from our sales. Sauce Hot Sauce, phenomenal. I was eating some Cuban food the other day, forgot to get hot sauce, and I was like, man, you know what would be great on this sandwich? Some Island Crown. But I didn't have any. I'm not like, one of those women that travel around with hot sauce in your purse, but I'm thinking I should be. And then walk around with some hot sauce in my purse. Not that I have a purse, but if I did have a purse, it's none of your business. And I would keep hot sauce in it. But
You can have a man bag. You
A
don't have to have
merce?
a purse. Yeah,
A
a merce.
A
or
matchel.
the ones, the ones
A
like
matchel.
a matchel, that's what
A
it's
man
called?
satchel.
A man satchel.
I bought one the other day. I
What,
can't
is
lie.
it like a
Nah,
is
that
it the
was a
one
manny
across?
pack.
Huh?
Is it
it
the
goes
one
like
across?
this. Yeah, it goes like this. And you can wear it on like a book bag too. you know?
Like I would wear that if I was in Merita, like if I was in Africa and like traveling, but I'm not gonna wear that.
You know why I really got it? Because I got tired of having things in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean that's why like man, pockets are major key, bro. Because like you need pockets. Like especially when you're traveling, you need pockets. Like yes, I know that's a ridiculous statement as I'm saying that out loud, but pockets are real.
It's the key to life. Pockets.
Like when you got pockets, you can keep anything you need on deck.
I mean, that's what they're for.
Like
Yeah,
so it's like you could have like I don't put my key, like I keep my phones in one pocket, right? And then I keep my wallet in another pocket. And then I keep my keys in another pocket. And then I keep my AirPods in another pocket because I'm sitting here like,
So you always have minimum 3 pockets.
a minimum. Because it's like, you got to be organized. So you can't just have.
Well, that's why you get the man bag, because you have pockets for each of those things. And then your legs don't feel bulky. So it works out.
Yeah, it works. It works. I'm not co-signing a man purse.
It's not a purse. It's not a purse.
I'm co-signing pockets. Yeah. So let's let's hop into rapid fire. One of our producers. This is not the one that was trying to fire you, by the way.
I know.
I would never.
He's a good guy.
This is Henista Heqwabti, the one that won't fire the co-host, and
the ho-host. Oh, he called you a ho-host.
I said co-host.
Oh,
but anyway.
ho-host.
You did
That's
say
a good
this time.
insult.
You said
You could
ho.
be like, you a ho-host. You could insult somebody.
Yo,
I feel like
on
that's
something else right now.
I feel like that's something some niggas in Harlem would be calling people like, man, you a ho-host.
In the words of our previous guest, Yves, get your mans. So
yeah, but I'm your man's. So
so rapid fire, as you know, 90 seconds max per topic. Let's see what's going on in the world.
I can't see the comments.
So the first topic, we have orange skies are the future. Prepare yourself. So this is coming from National Geographic. They're saying that in the past, the 10 worst wildfire seasons of acres burnt in America have all occurred since 2004. And due to climate change, it's driving an increase in wildfires. So expect more smoke, like we just saw recently, over the years to come. And they offer a bunch of different ways to protect yourself: masks, ventilation, stay inside, et cetera, et cetera. Thoughts on this climate change, wildfire, smoke conversation?
That ain't due to
Sounds like a
climate
setup.
change.
This sounds like a serious setup. It's like that COVID thing where they were already prepping people to wear masks for like months before prior. Now they're prepping people to be okay with like the skies looking a certain kind of way and wearing masks and then living life a certain kind of way. It sounds like they were like, what do they call that? Social programming?
Yeah, social. Like, it's almost like social engineering on top of that.
There was a movie about this with Cuba Gooding Jr. where like the air was toxic. You saw that movie?
Which one?
Like the air was toxic. Like people had to wear full body suits.
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah.
The only movie that I know where they do like where the environment was completely toxic and people had to wear suits was, have you ever seen the movie 12 Monkeys?
Mm-mm.
That's a good sci-fi movie. You seen that before?
I've heard of it, but I've never watched
They
it.
even made a TV show about it. That's a good sci-fi movie with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. It's time travel, but you should check it out. It's good. But hold on, before we get derailed, climate change is bullshit. And climate change is bullshit because the reason why the environment is changing is due to the way that human beings are functioning spiritually and energetically, which means that because of like what people are doing in terms of like to other human beings is the reason why climate change is happening. And it has a lot to do with like what secret societies and like the elite are doing in terms of like behind closed doors with like satanic rituals. This is a clip. Pt.2, you better put this out there. And it has to do with that more than anything else. So climate change is not real, and know that you heard it coming from these temples, that the reason why climate change is happening is because of what human beings are doing in terms of satanic or Setian rituals.
So for those of you who don't understand what he just said, simply put, human beings, a lot of us are cancers, and the earth is now trying to give us chemotherapy to get rid of some of us.
Chemotherapy. Kemosabi. Wait, I got to unmute you. Go ahead.
All right, so moving forward. On a less serious note, The Little Mermaid.
Oh, there's no sound on the IG Live, according to our comments. Go ahead.
Oh. On a less serious note, The Little Mermaid remakes box office destroys Disney's $1 billion trend. Will it recover? So essentially, Disney has had like a series of like, hits between like Cinderella or, Lion King or other remakes that have all hit $1 billion in box office. So this is the first time that hasn't happened. So The Little Mermaid has hit around, I think, $63 million in revenue. But there was a lot of hype, around the Black Mermaid and all this conversation. But the sales aren't adding up. So now it's like a whole situation.
It's because she's black.
I mean, let's take a second, right?
White people not taking their little white girls
Well,
to go see a black
Well,
Little
more
Mermaid.
context
That's
though.
why.
There have been a lot less international sales, but most viewership has been in Canada and in the U.S.
So this is interesting, right? Because like there's a part of me that wants to be like, man, get off my lawn. Like we're sitting here talking about like movies, right? Like we're sitting here talking about like the millions of dollars that a movie is pulling in when there's like people all over the planet dying. And then it kind of makes you think like, okay, like how removed from reality are we that like this is what we're worried about? Like there's somebody that sat down. There's a whole industry surrounding movies, like where people are sitting down and trying to figure out like, oh, how much money is it gonna make? And this is the projections of this, and this is the projections of that. And then there's like people out there that are dying. There's people out there that are like dealing with real shit. And they're like having to evade like people coming in and maybe raping you or killing you or this and that. And then, or they don't have water, they don't have food to eat. And then we're here like, The Little Mermaid didn't make its projection of $1 billion and it's damaging Disney's brand. And then you just kind of feel like a jerk off, like because like you really start thinking about it and you're like, damn, like, come on, like, is this what we're doing? I don't mean to be a
Killjoy.
buzzkill, but like, you know, you just kind of have to think like, damn, like this is
Them
really what we're
people
doing.
is eating regardless.
Yeah, I mean, the lady that's playing the Little Mermaid, she's fine. Like, she's gonna be. She doesn't. Disney is the one that's gonna have to do the tax write-off, and if people really know the way that like the film industry works, when a movie doesn't make back its profit, a lot of times you can even write it off as a tax write-off. So Disney's fine. Disney's racking in money. Disney's a huge conglomerate. Like, in terms of like the biggest media company in the world is Disney. So Disney's gonna be fine. And that's why they have that social engineering agenda so that they can get everybody to feed them with their money.
Well, on the topic of money and the topic of, you know, where it's going, a white Starbucks manager fired amid furor over racism wins $25 million.
You can
Wait,
see
what?
The way,
So-
you can see the face he's making. I just want to hear from Conscious Raven.
So it's context really quick. So
Repeat that.
So wait, in 2018, there was a whole scandal where like these two black men went to a Starbucks and they were told like they can't use the bathroom in that whole situation. They're saying it was racist because like they didn't seem like they were patrons because of how they looked perhaps. And then they sued and then Starbucks apologized.
That's what the white lady was saying.
And then Starbucks closed 8,000 locations after that incident as a statement.
Well, they closed them, but they did like sensitivity training.
Exactly,
right?
and that as well.
They didn't like close them.
So wait, they closed them, but they reopened them.
Well, they closed them so that they could give you sensitivity training.
Sensitivity. What's sensitivity training?
It's like let's say like I'm racist and I work at Starbucks, and then someone's reported me, then they'll be like, oh, we need to give this person sensitivity training. It's like a way of saying like, we're gonna teach you how to be more tolerable as a human being.
So does that actually change the person and stop
No,
them from being racist?
No, they just have to hide it. It's like the KKK. It's like, now, you guys remember that like KKK interview? It was on national TV, and there was like a guy from the KKK, and he was on TV, and he was talking to somebody, and then he was like, in 40, 50 years, like, I don't have to wear my hood because I'm going to be a politician.
Well, that's what it is now.
I'm going to be a doctor.
But that's
I'm gonna
exactly
be
what it is now.
Yeah, I'm going to be a fireman, and you're not going to be able to tell who we are.
Right.
And we're going to be everywhere. And that's what it is now. So it's like, you know, let's just stop with the BS and the sensitivity
So
training.
this man got $25 million?
Because she was a regional manager
lady.
that was fired, and she's saying that she was fired because she was white, so she was able to sue, you know, for wrongful.
Did she have all black
Wait, so
coworkers
she
or
got
something?
$80 million.
$25 million.
She got 25.
She got $25
years,
million.
years after that original incident.
Yeah.
Because she was white.
And got
Yeah,
fired.
because apparently
unjustly.
because it was like racially charged, and she was saying like, I got fired. Like, so yeah, I mean, hey man,
I
like,
recently got fired. I'm about to
get your
use
bag.
that.
You got fired while you were pregnant?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you talking about? That's a bag.
Yeah.
You got fired while you were pregnant?
Yeah, because I was pregnant.
Stop.
And I'm black.
Yeah, but listen, hold on.
Yo.
I don't even want to talk about it on
Hold on.
camera because I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna give you the inside track, but I'm gonna tell you off camera because I didn't know that. I didn't know if you got fired
Are
and
you
you're
gonna be my
pregnant,
lawyer?
bruh. You don't know how many lawsuits I've won.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
I'm not a lawyer, but I just know when to file a lawsuit.
Yeah, they right down the block.
Back to the
Yeah.
guy
You
getting
know.
20. This lady getting 25 million for being white.
We gotta cut that out.
This
though.
is-
We have to remove all evidence of Henista's court case, impending court case.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, that's
okay.
discrimination. That's discrimination.
That's just.
Yeah, that's
I'll slide you
discrimination.
some
Yeah,
money,
so-
like,
I've been telling her to do this for months.
but I
to
wanted
sue
to.
these
I don't
people.
know the right way. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
need
just gotta
to-
get a lawyer, but it's cool. We got
That's an on-camera
Anyway.
on-camera
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
So next topic, we have 4 kids that went missing in the Amazonian jungle have been found. So context for this one is kind of crazy. On May 1st, there was an airplane of 7 passengers, and it crashed in the jungle, and only 4 survived. They were all 4 children from ages 1 to 13.
Man.
So they were there for a while. They had like the search team looking for them and everything. And apparently, the grandfather was saying that the children weren't hearing their screams because they were taken by a spirit in the jungle that they call duende. Said that the duende took the children, and basically the grandfather recommended that they talk to the spiritual beings of the forest and ask them to let go of the children. And then sometime later, the children were found, and that he said that that he wasn't worried about them because the 13-year-old knew how to survive, and they were all from the Amazonian jungle, so that he knew that they could find their way in the jungle.
Sounds like initiation.
I'm dropping a few bombs on that one. It sounds like the grandfather is really connected to nature, and that's the reason why they were able to find. Sounds like he understands spiritual technology and the technicalities of spirituality and how to communicate with nature, how to deal with nature, and then he's the reason why they were able to find the kids. Because
that's exactly why we need culture.
yeah, I mean that's the
We
reason
need
why you need
principles.
initiation.
Exactly.
So that you can do things like that. Because, I mean, people think, like, when you look at Elon Musk or when you look at certain people that are successful, like, people don't understand that the things that they're conditioning you to stay away from, which is spirituality and particularly African spirituality, let's get it real, because African spirituality dealing with entities and spirits and ancestors and things in the non-material and doing offerings, doing, spiritual works and things like that. Because they keep you away from that, and then they make you think something like this is something you need to stay away from, or it's the devil, or 666 is the devil, and spirituality is this and spirituality is that. Keep in mind that while they're keeping you away from it and they're telling you that this is bad and they're conditioning you that this is bad, they're going to these people that have these African traditions preserved, and they're utilizing them to fix their lives spiritually. And that's how these people are able to maintain themselves and stay on top of the world. That's a clip.
Boom, drop the bomb on that one. All right, next topic. We have woman presumed dead found alive in coffin at her wake in Ecuador.
Damn.
Yeah, so a 76-year-old woman.
How did she get to the funeral before they figured this out?
That's a good question. She was declared dead at the hospital, but was found alive knocking on the coffin during her own wake. And so someone lifted the coffin, and her heart was pounding. Her left hand was hitting the coffin. This is a quote from 911, a call from 911. And she's now alive. She's been admitted back into the hospital. But she was there originally for a possible stroke and a cardiopulmonary arrest.
Whoa, so they brought her back to the same hospital?
I don't think
That
Declared
declared
her
her
dead.
dead.
I don't know if it's the same hospital.
Yeah, I
but-
know. I'm like, don't send me back to that hospital.
Ew.
Yeah,
No way.
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going back to that hospital. Take
She
me anywhere
good.
but
She
that hospital.
brought herself back from the dead.
But I
She's
still have a lot of
different.
questions. So wait, she was in a coffin, right?
In the coffin at her own wake.
So
She
then
was
did
not
they
when,
do-
when they declare you dead, don't they,
Yeah,
you know,
embalm you and
embalm and all
all
that
shit?
stuff?
Yeah.
How,
I don't know. I mean,
And
it's
they
Ecuador.
take your
I'm not sure
organs
how
out,
I'm not
too.
sure how it's done in Ecuador.
Well, that's only if they
but
do a autopsy. Only take your
Oh.
organs out if you do an autopsy.
I thought they do it
Well,
so the body doesn't.
No, they're gonna
stink
take your
or
organs out
something.
anyway because
Yeah.
in this system that we're living in, they want those organs.
No, but they only can open the body and take the organs out if you're an organ donor or if there's an autopsy.
That's true, but in some cases, like I know a friend of mine who one time they were looking into his mother died and they were looking into her body and then they got the body back, but then they realized there were small incisions in places and then when they opened it, like some of her organs were missing.
They
So-
opened her body.
Yeah, because people actually have these
Yeah.
markets where they buy
It's a
and
huge
sell organs,
market.
especially if you black.
The black market,
Yeah,
African organs, please.
that's high money right there.
Please. That's
Serious
creme de la
money.
creme. What do you think Get Out is about?
Right.
Like, people think Get Out's a movie, but Get Out is about the fact that, like, black people and African organs are creme de la creme, baby. That's, like, top of the line.
You
When
ever
it
seen
comes
that,
to,
that Instagram clip with the white guys with the 5 black women around him and he's telling them why their genetic DNA is like the top of the top?
No.
And he will pay them money
Was he
for their
British?
genes.
Was he British?
I think he was German.
Yeah, it's
Weren't we
German. Yeah, it sounds
watching
like
some
European
movie
shit.
the other day, or was it like a clip on Instagram about the guy who like had 100 women impregnated a day, so that because he had really good
you're
genes
talking
or
about
something?
no. This
Give
guy
it up
was
for
a
that
slave.
guy. Yeah, give it up for that
No,
guy.
but
Shout out to that guy.
No, what it was, he was a slave.
That's real.
He was a slave, and then he was like the main guy on the breeding farms. Cause you know, back in history,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they had
slavery,
breeding
breeding farms, yeah.
breeding farms and stuff. So he was like the main guy.
The Bucks.
Yeah, he was like
Yeah.
some guy from the Congo. He was like, really tall, really buff, really
But
strong.
then
So they wanted
it's not
strong
really
slave
giving it
babies.
up for him. They make you do it with your mom, your sister, your cousin, like that.
You
that
see,
shit-
you guys left
it
that
was
part
different.
out before I hit
Yeah,
clap.
yeah, take them
Like that it
claps
was
back.
that it was hold on.
Pause. Pause.
Yeah, because y'all didn't tell us that it was like some slavery breeding thing. So then, yeah, I'm not giving it up for that. Like, I'm not hitting the clap button. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Go
okay.
ahead. Tutana.
Whew. Nancy
Set me
Schaefer and her husband silenced for exposing CPS, Child Protective Services. So Nancy Schaefer is a former state senator, and they were both found dead and comparing a murder-suicide. But before she passed, she was seen speaking about the dangers of Child Protective Services, saying that it's become a protected empire, and that it's built on taking children and destroying families, and that the CPS needs to be completely closed and restructured moving forward.
So CPS and what's the other one?
Wait, one more quote that was very important from this. The family will need to be destroyed for the one world government to completely develop. That was from her mouth.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
So
Makes sense.
what's the Planned Parenthood, right? Planned Parenthood. And what's that thing called? This idiot. And her thing?
CPS.
CPS, Planned Parenthood, foster system. All of these institutions within the system are there to ensure that you're able to break down the family and population control. That's why you hear like Bill Gates and all these like elite people talking about like, oh, population control, population problems. There's an overpopulation issue. That's why China does this one child thing where they're like, oh, you can't have more than one child. Hot take, homosexuality, Planned Parenthood, CPS, children that go missing, all of these things are population control and farming systems for the elite, for them to be able to use the common folk for whatever they want to use them for.
It's straight up infanticide, and if you don't know what that is, it really it's funny because it goes even back
And
to
there's
Roman
more. There's
times.
more too.
There's a lot more, but it goes back to even Roman times when they would actually come and they would wherever area they would conquer, they would take the children and limit the children that you can have, and if you had more than 2 or 3, they would kill 2, and then you can only have 1. That's how the Roman Empire kept their regions that they controlled in line, in check, and it's no different than it is today. That's why, like, if you look at America, just America alone, right? The state of Texas can house every single American.
They can house a whole fucking planet.
Just the state, right? Just
The
the
whole
state
planet.
of Texas.
Yeah.
But then you want us to believe that there's such a thing as overpopulation? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
but they have everybody by the balls in terms of conditioning. because the world is small. Like there's some people that have never even left their hometown. So the problem is like there's people that never even left their hometown. So then you tell them like there's a population there's a population issue. They're gonna be like, God diggity damn, there is a population issue because they've never left their hometown. So they're just like believing the mainstream media. Like there are people out there that believe everything the mainstream media says. Like there are people that are out there that believe everything the colleges, the universities, the doctors, the politicians, the celebrities, Hollywood, like the whole modern system and institution, and as we call it, like, the system, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. There are people that believe and buy into every aspect of it, the modern medical system, all of that stuff. There are people that live and die by it, and they think that there's no possible way that they could be lied to.
And CPS is like they're a gang for real.
Yeah, gang.
Because there was a lady actually in Texas who got her baby taken away, a newborn baby, because she took it to the pediatrician and the baby had jaundice. And instead of going straight to the doctor, she listened to advice from her like midwife, and they considered that like not prenatal, proper care. No, it's not prenatal because that's before the baby's born. But it wasn't like proper care in the modern medical system's eyes. So they took her baby for like 2 weeks.
I saw
and the only reason she got her baby back was everybody was calling CPS.
Because I saw that there was like an outrage, and then they reached out to a whole bunch of people to get the baby back. But let's hold on to that because we're gonna talk. That's ties into our topic today.
Going back into even Bill Gates and the population control.
Oh, man, I didn't even know that was coming.
It's the next topic.
Yeah.
Peter Flaherty, he was the chairman of the National Legal and Policy Center. He was arrested recently while giving a talk at the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. He was exposing Bill
Sounds
Gates.
like some elite shit.
Definitely.
Berkshire Hathaway. What is that?
For the research on that one.
Okay.
But there's some video clips online you can find of him speaking about the Bill Gates Foundation's Gender Identity Toolbox, which asserts that gender is a result of culturally and socially constructed ideas. Basically saying that gender is just a social construct, which is targeted towards children. This organization. And he also began to speak about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, and he doesn't care about children.
Man, I saw this video the other day.
Is this the guy who they had to like
Yeah,
pull out?
they took him out. They forced him out, and he was arrested.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah,
he was arrested on charges of trespassing, which were dropped later on.
Wait, was
How he
supposed to be at the
trespassing? And he
meeting?
was on
They
the
invited
stand
him to
talking.
speak.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
he's
they invited him
trespassing.
to. They invited him to speak, and they charged him with trespassing. That's how you know he was saying some real shit. And then they were like, "Nah, fuck this, get him off the stage." Okay, so I saw this video the other day, right, about the connections of Epstein to and this is like fact, public fact.
Epstein was a Marmaluke.
Huh?
Epstein was a Marmaluke.
Can you not do this right now? Don't try.
Continue.
Yeah, we only have 90 seconds.
Continue.
You're trying to recruit people to your Marmaluke
Just
cause.
continue.
This guy's a Marmaluke. Don't let him fool
No,
you.
I'm not.
Yeah, skin is different than blood.
How dare you go there?
Yeah, I said it. Marmaluke. This guy's a
we
Marmaluke.
got like 20 seconds.
Okay,
left.
so apparently people are complaining about our sound effects, saying that it's making distortion. Anyway, I'm going to find that video, and I'm going to send it to you guys, because it's talking about how Epstein, right, is connected to, like, the Barr family, and how his father was, like, connected within political circles, and how, like, all these political circles and, like, the people that it's connected through with Epstein, in terms of, like, how he has the influence that he has and how he was doing the things he was doing. And it's, like, all of the real political connections that he has. And I'm gonna send it to you guys so you guys could check it out. Maybe we'll put it in the description or something. But it's crazy, like how, like, the elite function and how they do things. And it's a club, and if you're not in it,
Yeah, it's one big network. That's it. What do they say? A network is your net worth, whatever.
No, your network is your net worth.
That's not what I said.
Your network is your network.
Yeah, you said your network is your net worth.
Well, everybody knows what I mean. You all know what I mean.
I
Everybody
knew
knows
what you meant, and but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because shout out to Andrew Tate, because you guys see the way that they're coming at Andrew Tate right now, and the way that they're trying to bring Andrew Tate down, and the way he's still holding strong. Shout out to Andrew Tate, because if you're in the club, they'll protect you till the ends of the earth. But if you're not in the club, then they'll come at you and they start, it's the same thing they did to Michael Jackson. It's the same thing they do to anybody that stands against them and their agenda. Is because it's a big, big club, and the inside circles are a lot smaller than you think, but there's a few people, that are running the world.
Blood in, blood out.
Emphasis on they.
All right, moving forward. Florida man almost loses his leg. What happened?
No good conversation starts with Florida man.
Oh, Florida? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of those. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Florida man almost loses leg to flesh-eating bacteria after being bitten by relative.
By relative?
So they were at a gathering. A fight broke out, and him trying to break up the fight, a relative bit him on the leg.
I'm telling you, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. I'm telling you, it's already here.
Days later, a bump appeared on his leg. He went to the hospital. They gave him some antibacteria and like a tetanus shot, my bad. And but after that, it got worse. Eventually, to the point to where he couldn't walk. The wound was growing pretty rapidly. So he went back to the hospital, and they saw that he had a flesh-eating bacteria, which is called, how do I pronounce this thing here? Necrotizing fasciitis.
They made that.
It's okay. They can't even pronounce it.
Yeah, one of those things.
Whoever wrote that can't even pronounce it.
So basically, it was just digging into his flesh. So they had to remove 70% of his leg, actually.
Oh,
of the thigh. Of the thigh.
Of the thigh.
Yeah.
What do you mean of the thigh, bro? Like that's not bad too. I need 100% of my thigh, not 30%.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna attack the modern medical system. So I thought antibiotics can kill bacteria because antibiotics only deals with bacteria, right? So how is it that the modern medical system wasn't able to kill this flesh-eating bacteria by giving the guy amoxicillin or antibiotics?
I'm stuck on his family member bit his leg, and this is how it happened. Like,
what is in the water in Florida?
You know
what is in that
what is in the
person's
water?
mouth?
Wait, you know what it is in Florida? It's because of, you know how like there's spiritual taboos for animals? What
they
kind
have
of
a lot
things?
Alligators,
What did they do? What did they
crocodiles.
eat?
They eat that a lot.
Everything.
Yeah, they do.
They eat everything.
They
in
eat
Florida.
catfish.
They eat
Yeah.
catfish.
All of that.
They eat, that's why when you go to what happens when you go to Louisiana?
Oh, there's a lot of problems out there. A
Problems.
lot.
Hurricane Katrina.
There's a lot of problems in Louisiana. There's a lot of problems in Florida, and then it's because this is a conversation where this is an initiated conversation.
You about to get people upset.
Yeah.
No more catfish?
Yeah. To the
No
non-initiated,
catfish?
you're not
No
going to know
more
what the hell we're
gizzard,
talking
lizard?
about. Yeah. No more alligator? Why can't I have sex with my sister? I eat gator and have sex with my sister. What's wrong with that? Yeah, that's not a stereotype. Niggas is out. Not niggas.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw a video literally
Inbreds is out
earlier.
here
I saw
like
a video earlier of like this black couple, and they were like, yeah, we found out that we're brother and sister, but but it's too late.
We're not promoting that at all.
Black couple?
No, but this is the funny part.
Whatsoever.
This is the funny part. A white lady came in and said, "God damn it, we can't have nothing." That was our thing. That was our thing. White people can't have nothing.
White people want incest to themselves.
Like, what is happening? Next topic.
Speaking of taboos, male primate masturbation may have evolved to prevent STIs, sexual transmitted infections.
Who comes up with this stuff?
This is a
This
science.
all happened in 1 week.
So some biologists in London were basically saying that primates, apes and different primates learn to masturbate to one, build their ability to reproduce to reproduce at a higher rate, and also to prevent STIs. So they're going.
What?
I mean,
They have conversation. This is a gorilla or an orangutan? What is this?
there is
Or
saying
monkey?
that this
They
be-
have STIs
there were
in the monkey
apparently.
world?
So there were,
Monkeys have sexually transmitted
apparently.
infections?
So they were saying that
Diseases?
around
So they get AIDS.
40 million. This happened 40 million years
Well, they
ago.
did say AIDS
They
came from
learned
monkey,
how
right?
to masturbate.
That was the excuse.
Bro, that's some racist shit. But okay,
So they're saying that 40 million years ago they learned how to masturbate.
40 million years
as a
ago.
reproductive measure.
How is that reproduction if it's masturbation?
Wait.
They have a couple of arguments. Let me actually read you the arguments they gave. There's two different hypotheses they gave.
Hold on. When
Please.
you're reading
Please.
the article, does that cut into our 90 seconds?
No,
Okay,
not
that's
in this
fine.
one.
Okay,
This
all right,
is
go
a
ahead,
very
go ahead.
complicated
Go ahead.
situation.
Yeah, because you guys are always yelling at us, but then y'all take forever.
True.
Y'all take 90 seconds.
So so the first reason is of the post-copulatory selection hypothesis suggests that the behavior helps to fertilize an egg.
Hypothesis.
For example, masturbation without ejaculation may increase arousal before sex. This could lead lower-ranking male monkeys to ejaculate faster and therefore have higher breeding success. Masturbation with ejaculation, on the other hand,
These niggas is some freaks.
might allow males
Because
to get
why are you
Yeah.
studying this?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a full
Why are
study.
you sitting there?
It's a
Why
full
are you
study.
sitting there doing a study? That sounds like some human shit. Because the thing is like you can't sit there and get a monkey or a gorilla to give you context.
They fucking
Like,
monkeys.
Yeah, they're monkeys.
Monkey fuckers.
Like they're monkeys and gorillas, and they're just out there like doing their thing. Like you can't be like, so why are you masturbating, Mr. Monkey? Why are you masturbating, Mr. Gorilla? Are you trying to increase your chances of impregnating your female partner over there?
This is a perfect example of how
Planet
the
Earth
modern
After Dark.
system really functions. Because
But people will
from
read
what I'm
that and
hearing,
be like,
right?
yes, of course, scientific
It's
discovery.
science. It's science. It must
Approved.
be facts.
I'm so disappointed
But-
in humanity.
But really, if
Why?
you think
It's
about this.
terrible.
Think about this.
You still have high hopes for humanity at this point? Like you hear that and you have high hopes for humanity?
Think about it. This is sad because everything that I'm hearing, it's just a guess. It's not even a fact or it's not
No,
true.
there's no
It doesn't
facts.
even make sense. But some way, for
and it
somehow,
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter because
what
people will
monkeys
believe
do.
it.
We
People
Well-
will
care.
believe this.
Well-
Some idiot is going to read this and say, "Well, did you know that monkeys evolved to masturbate?"
Yeah, but
Did you-
what kind of sexually transmitted diseases do monkeys have?
I don't really want to know.
Like what is
be
it? Like,
honest,
are
I'm not
monkeys
really
out here giving each other
Yeah, how did they
herpes?
find that out? How?
Like syphilis, like gonorrhea.
Did they swipe
And
the
then
monkey
they're like,
vagina
yeah,
with a
they're
tube
here like,
and then?
use a condom, Rafiki. Like what's going on out here?
I think let's just move on from this one. This is. But on the topic of animals and
Ridiculous.
we have the cocaine hippo. So
Oh
this,
my God,
this,
Teutonic.
this goes.
I can't.
Hey,
I
it's a
can't
new-
with these.
I didn't-
It's not Teutonic.
I didn't write it.
This is- yeah,
I didn't
it's
write
not
this.
This is the badness out there that Teutonic is bringing
Right.
us.
So basically,
Don't be
Pablo-
like that guy going at attacking Teutonic
Thank
like he
you.
did something. Yeah.
What if he's watching?
Whatever, you know who you are.
So,
We're attacking Teutonic.
next
for no
next
reason.
topic.
Such
so
a nice guy.
Pablo
Pure-hearted
Escobar.
person.
Pablo Escobar imported hippos during his time.
Yeah, because hippos are
Coming.
from Africa. They're not
Exactly.
in South America.
So due
And
to the
nowhere else,
importation, due to
Hippos.
the
Hippos.
importation,
You know,
the
I'll get into it. Go.
the hippos that he brought in, they made it over time, and now the hippo population has doubled within that region.
Okay.
So, how
So-
many of them are there?
So I think let's see here. It went from 98 to about 215. So this is the
How
issue.
rich do you have to be to bring 98 hippos?
No. He brought a couple, but like
Bro.
they made it. They had
Oh,
they
okay.
could
It was
reproduce.
Pablo Escobar, bro. It's like one
Yeah,
of the
he
most
bought a- he
rich-
bought a
he's one of
missile.
the richest person in the world.
This guy bought a missile
Yeah,
from
Pablo.
Russia.
Shout out to Pablo
But he
Escobar and his
saved
family.
hippos, so you
Yeah.
know
Well, hold on.
that's.
So you guys know that hippos. Google this. You guys know that hippos are the most dangerous animal in
That
the
was
world.
the issue
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
seeing.
Like,
Oh.
Hippos.
I didn't know
Hippos are actually like hippos. If you're in a boat and you're a human being, and you're in a body of water with a hippo, and the hippo just sees the boat,
Mm-hmm.
it's over.
Yeah.
like hippos, like lions, like because I was talking to my dad one time and he was like, I don't know, a lion versus a hippo. I was like, Google it. I'm telling you, hippos.
I've
Like,
actually seen it.
you know that is. Look at Tauret.
Oh yeah.
What other animal? What other month has hippos as a has a taboo? I don't
Well,
think.
none.
I think only
It's just that one.
Pen-Amenhotep,
Yeah.
which is Tauret. I'm Tauret. Tauret. Shout out to Tauret. Shout out to everybody born in Pen-Amenhotep. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get yourself a Kemetic calendar, risingfirefly.org. Get it. Get yourself aligned with nature. Figure out what animals you're not supposed to be eating, what animals you're supposed to be eating, and all that stuff. Hippos, not to be fucked with.
Yeah, I've
Not
actually
at
seen
all.
a hippo tear a lion like up.
Yeah. Hippos
like,
don't.
up.
Hippos, like if they just see you, they will attack.
Damn.
Like hippos don't
Very
fuck around.
aggressive.
So why didn't he want hippos?
Because
he's Pablo Escobar.
It's Pablo Escobar.
It's a boss move.
That's the guy that took.
He's the
The
Don.
whole world was looking for Pablo Escobar. He was in front of the White House, took a picture.
Right.
They were looking for him.
That's
And he
that
was like,
guy.
I'm here.
Gangsta.
That guy.
Okay, y'all. let's
Again,
move
he
on.
bought a
Deck.
missile from
Yeah,
Russia.
It's Pablo Escobar, bro.
So for these next few
Tauret is a Neter. It's a divinity that oversees the month of Pen-Amenhotep in the Kemetic calendar. So we're talking about a Neteru. We're talking about a divinity. Again, please get your copy of the Kemetic calendar. More context will be in there.
But who the hell would try to even eat a hippo? Who would eat that?
But you know, that's what in the initiation for hunters, you have to go hunt a hippo.
What?
When you're going to graduate in the initiation for hunters, you have to go hunt a hippo.
Hey.
You guys haven't been to Bobo.
When you
but
when
when we
you
go
signing
see
up,
the
are you
dozo,
signing up? Are you gonna sign up?
I mean, I'm not going to reveal what I'm initiated into and what I'm not. But when we went to you guys haven't been to Bobo yet, but when we go to the hunter, because when we go to Bobo and we go see the traditional hunters, the dozo, we go to the hunter's house. Sen, they have a hippo skull from
Wow.
one of the former leaders of the dozo, because he went and hunted a hippo, and this is without a gun. Like, you're talking about like somebody using traditional means to go hunt the most dangerous animal in the world. A hippo's skull is as big as this table. It's huge.
Did he eat it?
I don't know what he did with it, but it's
Okay.
it's crazy. But okay, go ahead.
So I'm gonna for these next couple of topics. Let's go 60 seconds, a bit quicker. let's get through these.
Okay, no problem.
So, a man named Stefan in Romania won the lottery 14 times, and he did it based on a mathematical equation. He was a mathematician, a steady mathematician. He realized,
Does he work for the lottery company?
nah. Basically, he realized that there's a certain amount of possible outcomes. So if I just run all those outcomes, I'll always win.
Wow.
So he hired people to work with him and all that kind
What's
of
his
stuff.
number?
Right.
His number.
Facts.
Well, he's retired. He's on an island. He's living his life.
He's on an island.
He's done.
What
But
island?
that I don't know.
He bought one, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
He bought an island.
But you know,
But now it's illegal. But back
do
then,
you
it
know
was,
his number?
back then it was legal though. That was the
Email?
What's
thing.
illegal?
Yeah.
You can't like he was basically printing out his own tickets.
He was running numbers.
running all the numbers, every number
It's
possible.
racketeering, bro.
So like he
Shares
started.
company.
So he started by basically saying, okay, me and my 4 friends are going to invest.
I sell insurance, by the way.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, if you need life insurance, contact him.
Go ahead, 2 times.
Yeah.
So basically him and his 4 friends invested at first, to get like a bulk amount of tickets, and they won. Then they split the profits. They kept doing that until you hired 16 people in a whole factory to just print out millions of different combinations, and he won 14 times.
Bruh.
You
How
know.
much money did he get?
I don't have the total, but each time it did go up. He won a lot overseas, but eventually came to the U.S. and started winning too. But
And that's when they
they
made it
tracked
illegal,
down, they
right?
banned
Call
it.
me.
And
So is it illegal only in the U.S. or can we do this other
Bro, who cares if it's
places?
illegal? Just, is there contact
it's
information? for this
intelligent.
guy?
It just says use your intelligence. You can find ways to,
I just want to I just want to interview him for Gate of Gates.
14 times is like,
Yeah.
he's sitting on some racks.
Yeah. I'll work for you. Stephon, where you at?
For real.
Yeah, like
teach me your ways.
Teach me how to Dougie, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm willing to learn the ways of the force when it comes to rigging the lottery. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's already a scam.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward. So we have going back to the idea of reparations and the returning of different artifacts or
I'm turning off my
ancestral. Gotcha. So mummified heads of Maori ancestors returned to New Zealand from Germany. So over 100 Maori and Moriori ancestors were returned back to the land. And let me see here. These relics were a dark reminder of how the body parts of indigenous people were swapped and sold during trades, not just in Germany, but around the world. And they were saying that the head was the most important part in the Maori culture. And so having those 6 mummified heads being returned was a big win for them.
That was a win.
It's a step, it's a long ways to go, but it's something.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Things like that kind of personally get me angry, because I know for a fact, especially when it comes to like somebody like me who was like a descendant of like slaves. I actually grew up by a sugarcane plantation, like in Jamaica, so I have a very close history to like slavery personally. I mean, all black people do, but like I've seen the places where my ancestors had to like actually work. I saw it. Like I grew up next to it, and in doing the history research on things like that, I found that there's a lot of kings in West and Central Africa whose heads still have not been returned. So it's like a lot of people even wonder, like, oh, why our ancestors didn't do this? Why our ancestors didn't fight this? Didn't fight that?
They did.
They did. They tried. Their heads are in the Vatican, in a pickle jar.
They still have Nat Turner's body, like in different areas. Because the uprising he led, they took his body, they chopped him up, and then they put it in different areas. So, like,
Sound like the holy drama.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Slavery, holy drama.
There we go. All right.
Nat Turner.
So,
yeah, so in the, I'm not gonna do this.
Like, come find out if you want to know.
Just come and find out. If you want context, come and find out. Like, I'm not doing this. Not tonight. Like, go listen. We have a Vimeo channel. Please pull up the Vimeo channel. Go check out the Holy Drama. Listen to the master talk about it. And then he will give you the Holy Drama. You can listen to the Holy Drama, and then you'll understand what Henista's talking about in terms of, what they did to Nat Turner. Like, not tonight.
Shout out to Nat Turner, though.
Shout out to Nat Turner.
Lying old white ladies.
Wait, what?
Lying white ladies, man.
Nat Turner?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm thinking of Emmett Till.
Yeah,
I'm like,
what are you talking about,
I'm
bro?
sorry. Just chill. Mistake.
This isn't To Kill a Mockingbird, bro. With Tom Robinson. Like, yeah.
All right. So, millionaire influencer Andrew Tate claims Matrix attack.
Shout out to Andrew Tate.
Shout out to Andrew Tate. Him and his brother were just released from jail in Romania. Tristan Tate.
Keep fighting the good fight.
And they're back on live. They're back on the internet, doing interviews and so forth. And they were doing an emergency room or an emergency meeting on their live stream. This was one of the largest live streams ever. I think top 5 ever. They had over 400,000 people on at one time tuning in. But
that's not even on YouTube. That's on Rumble.
On Rumble, exactly. Yeah. And during that process, when they began to talk about the Matrix, then all of a sudden, the power goes out. They lose connection.
They're watching.
Mr. Smith.
They're quoting on Twitter now saying the Matrix is trying to shut down the top G. The Matrix is attacking. It's time to fight back. The moment Tate starts talking about the Matrix, the power went out. Coincidence? I'd say Matrix attack. These are quotes from Twitter.
Man, look. Listen, we don't even got to say much on this one. It is what it is. Like, if you guys don't understand, like, when me and Tutipsa first saw this guy, Andrew Tate, I understand a lot of people don't probably like him, mainly women, because they don't really understand the context in which he's speaking about. But from an initiatic standpoint, This guy is talking some stuff, and he's talking culture. He's talking traditions.
You know, he gave the monkey story, the monkey and the hot water or the cold water and the bananas. He gave that story.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like, I'm not trying to put you out there, Andrew Tate, but
You're initiating something.
we know you're initiated.
We don't know what.
We don't know
but we
where.
know you're
we don't know
initiating
who
something.
initiated you, but we know you're an initiate, bro.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the guy's intelligent, man. Like, nobody who is with the system gets attacked the way he got attacked.
Exactly.
There's no way that Uber is going to ban you.
Payment
you're a puppet.
processors and banks aren't going to ban you unless you're doing something that's going against the powers that be in the system.
Yeah, shout out to that guy for real.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Hey, if you need us, you know where to find us. Kebtah. If you need spiritual reinforcements, you know where to find us. ANHlife.org. Kebtah, we're here.
There we go. All right, so let's finish with the modern medical system a bit. So recently, one of the largest trans healthcare providers in the U.S. are rubber stamping letters approving gruesome, life-altering surgeries. So one of the licensed clinical social workers named Ari Groner is stating publicly that she's basically finding ways around this system to approve gender-altering surgeries or sex-altering surgeries. So that could be claiming like, they might have, they have gender dysphoria. They need this for their own mental health or other ways to get around the system. And they're encouraging or even taking payments to basically force letters forward for these surgeries. And this is in the best, in the benefit of people who want to become trans. So they're saying like, we're going to go around this system to make sure that you can get the surgery you need as a trans person for your own stability.
You mean like through insurance, so it's not like out of pocket?
Well, in order to have the surgery, you have to have a letter of approval.
Oh.
It has to be like, like a medical or some kind of letter of approval. So they're basically forging these letters in a certain way to get people these surgeries.
So as I was saying earlier, there's a big agenda when it comes to population control, when it comes to the transsexual movements, the homosexuality movements, all the LGBTQIA movements, all of that stuff. There's a huge agenda when it comes to population control. And the way that they're trying to get everybody to buy in is that they're attacking the kids. But the thing is that if you're going to attack the kids, right, then you have to take full responsibility for the children, which means that you now have to raise that child from its infancy, from when it's born, its infancy, all the way until it becomes an adult. If you're not willing to do that, then you don't get to dictate what is going into the child's brain in terms of conditioning.
Well,
Period.
End of the day, I think it matters. What you're saying is very much true. But in the minds of these people, it doesn't matter, because what I've seen or I find is that when you have this kind of mentality, or what they call it, gender dysphoria, whatever, it's almost like nothing else logical makes any sense to you. So everything that you see or everything that you can experience has to be from your emotional channel. So the fact that there's people who don't agree with you, it triggers your emotions. And now you're reacting off of that one small trigger, in which now you think you can control the situation because everything around you is not catering to your emotions. And that's like, I find is like one of the biggest problem with this gender dysphoria thing, or this LGBT thing, which they want to call human rights now, which is funny because there's no H in LGBT. Where's the human?
Bars.
But, it's just sad. I mean, I'd be damned if I let somebody tell me what my kids can do and not do.
But sometimes it's the parents themselves that are supporting this. I had a boss that I don't even know. It was a girl and it wanted to be a boy. And she supported it. And the little girl boy was only like 11 years old.
So let me ask you a question, right? Everybody. Is this our last topic?
Well, we have one more, but it connects.
Okay, so if the child can't buy cigarettes, if the child can't buy a gun, if the child can't go see a rated R movie, if the child can't go buy anything that they're not able to buy over the age under the age of 18, they can't even join the military. But you're saying that they're in a position to be able to choose to change and alter their gender? Doesn't make sense. If you're going to use a logic that says like you have to be at this point in your life in order to do this or do that, then you can't pick and choose at what point that is able to be applied. You can't say that a child is able to decide that they want to mutilate their genitals and cut off their penis or sew up their vagina and then have their clitoris stretched out to become a penis.
Is that even
under
possible?
Isn't that what they do?
Clitoris.
Bro, I don't know, bro.
Like,
I don't know what they got going on
Sounds
nowadays.
painful.
This thing is
whatever
crazy.
they do,
They do something.
I was having a
I don't
viral
wanna
moment.
know.
We were trying to have a viral moment right there. Yeah, but like we were almost there until you were like,
All right, bring it back.
they stretch out the clit.
Because that's crazy to me. Like when you said that, it burst my bubble. I'm like, whoa, what? They stretch out the clit? Like, how?
What's the next topic?
Yeah.
All right, last topic, y'all. On the topic of the human dilemma, synthetic human embryos created in groundbreaking advance. So we had a topic about this recently, but this is another breakthrough, apparently.
Synthetic embryos?
Scientists have created synthetic human embryos using stem cells in a groundbreaking advance that sidesteps the need for eggs or sperm. Scientists say that these model embryos, which resemble those in the early stages of human development, could provide a crucial window on the impact of genetic disorders and biological causes of recurrent miscarriage. However, the only issue right now apparently is that these structures don't have a beating heart or the beginnings of a brain, but include cells that would typically go on to form the it's no heart or brain, but it can form a placenta, yolk, sac, and embryo.
So they ain't got nothing, basically, but a
spirit,
synthetic
soul,
embryo with no baby that can actually grow.
I'm telling you, it's the beginning of the zombies. The zombies are coming. They're coming. They're upon us.
So, gosh. All right. So this is like kind of twofold, right? So this ties into our topic today because what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to keep talking about the modern medical system, but we're going to go more into science and genetics and like eugenics and all of this NX bullshit, right? So you can't tell me that there's not an agenda for like cloning and eugenics and social engineering in terms of like the same way you can go to McDonald's and you can be like, give me a Big Mac, no pickles, lettuce, and tomato. No ketchup. Hold the ketchup, no pickles, and no secret sauce. That's what people want to be able to do with human beings. Instead of a woman being like, hey, I love this man, a man being like, I love this woman, and then having babies and procreating the natural way. Now everything is becoming so distant from the natural way of doing things that you can literally go to the doctor, you can have your sperm inserted into an embryo that's frozen by a company in Spain or anywhere, like somewhere in Europe, and then they will then like artificially inseminate the embryo, which they're taking from somebody, and then the sperm that they're taking from another person, and they will create you a baby genetically in the lab. That's why, like, spiritually speaking, twins is spiritual, right? But then you see like octuplets, like these unnatural numbers past a certain point where they're claiming that like, oh, it's natural, but then you have to go see somebody that starts injecting you with all of these things, that starts injecting you with all of this stuff so that you're able to have more than 2 babies coming at a time. And it just it's really disappointing, because the thing is like science is out here selling a lot of this stuff as natural when it's not natural, because they've normalized it, and then it's all in the name of research. It's all in the name of advancement. And what we find ourselves dealing with today is the fact that what are we advancing toward? And at what point does research go too far? And at what point is there agenda behind what you claim to be the natural or normalized order of things? Because you're pregnant, obviously, right? And let's get into it. So what are some of the challenges you've come up against dealing with the modern medical system as a pregnant lady? And before you get started and before you jump into it, right, we're about to have a few guests come through the door we're lucky enough to have people visiting us. We say that when you have a guest visiting, that you have the gods coming to visit you in your home. So we have a few people that are showing up that are arriving from Africa. So we're going to be completely like just giving it to you in the live by like welcoming people. So just be warned that it's going to happen within the next few minutes. So
Okay.
Hit it, but get ready.
I mean, yeah, they basically force you to stick to the modern medical system's ways of going through like prenatal care. So I wanted to get a sonogram just to make sure the baby was okay and things like that. And I didn't go until I was like 9 weeks. And the lady was freaking out. She was like, "Why haven't you been to a doctor yet? Why haven't you done this yet? Why haven't you done that yet? Have you had a swab of your vagina? You've never had this. You've never had that. Oh, we need to do all this for you today." And I was like, "Hold on. I don't want none of that." And she was like, "Why? Like, are you a Muslim? Are you?"
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should have been like, yes.
I didn't want her to take my blood. And she
suing
was
you.
like, "Are you a Muslim? Is that why? Like,
Where was
what is the
this?
reason?" It was in Long Island.
No, but you were at the hospital? Where
No,
were you?
the OBGYN.
OBGYN?
Mhm.
Damn, she said that outright?
Mhm.
Lawsuit! We need to get a sound that says, lawyer
See, I
up.
don't know these
Yeah,
things. I wish
yeah,
I would
like,
have knew that.
what?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have been like, I am, and it's against my religion. And then you should have just, right then and there, what you should have done is you should have started, oh, Jay. You wait. We'll switch. So we're lucky enough to have a couple of people visiting us just arrived from Africa. So give us 1 second. We're literally live, but we're like, she's greeting you. Peace. Yeah, we're on the air. So
Shout out to grandmama.
I know, right? You guys don't know how happy we are to receive Grandmama and Terry Shot right now. So you're at the OBGYN. They're trying to pull blood, and you're like, I'm good. And then they're like, what are you, a Muslim?
Right.
That man, bruh, I wish I had known about this stuff. You have how many? You have like 2 lawsuits already.
I had no idea.
What? Bruh. I need to connect you with a few lawyers that I know.
Yeah, but she basically was trying to make me feel bad, like, oh, you don't give a shit about your baby because if you don't want to do this, that, and the third, then you're like a horrible person who doesn't want prenatal care.
Henista's the right one. What did you say?
I was just like, no, thank you. Like, I'll think about it next time. Maybe when I come back. I never went back to her. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. But I just declined respectfully because those people will track you down. Like, yeah, your baby can get taken away from you if you.
Like what they did to the lady in Texas.
Yeah. Like, they will be like, oh, this person, was trying to deny prenatal care. Check up to see if she's been to doctors since then or whatever, how she delivered and all that stuff. Like, it's serious business because they get a lot of money from delivering a baby. Like, your placenta alone, you get like $50,000 for it. Yeah, doctors.
They get $50,000.
Well, they get
$50,000 for your placenta.
It's actually
Yeah.
$60,000.
They get $60,000 for your placenta.
Yep. C-section is like $30,000. The drugs they give you all cost money. So it's like they try to rack up a bill and they're trying to keep you as a patient. So as long as you like follow all their procedures, every time that you come to their visits, it's money. If you say, I don't need you, it's like they're losing out on a check.
Did they get a cut though?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like the lady that was like, are you a Muslim? Does she get a cut?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong business.
Everything they sell to you,
I need to
they
be in
get
the
a cut.
OBGYN
Yeah,
business.
if they
Looking
give
at
you
vaginas all
like
day.
vaccines, they get money from that. They give
Yeah,
the
of
baby
course, yeah, they get the
vaccines, they
kickback,
get money
yeah.
from that. So it's like they see you as a number. And the more I was going to these doctors, I was realizing like, okay, they really don't give a shit about you. Because the appointment is for like 10 minutes. And they're like, oh, is this good? Is that good? Is this good? Is that good? And then it's like, okay, do you have any questions? And it's like, get out, basically. So every visit you go, they get money for that, obviously. And it's just like a build up into like the big finale of your birth. So the doctor is basically like, oh, you should get induced because then I can guarantee I can be there for your birth and I can get my check. And he didn't say that, obviously.
He's not
but
like,
it's
so I can
like,
get paid, bitch.
yeah. And he was basically like, today I had an appointment. He was like, oh, you should give birth tonight because I'm working tomorrow. Yeah, literally.
He said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, so
Kaja's Riemann as my witness. Yeah.
You sound like me. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses. Like, man.
Super creepy.
How old is this doctor?
I don't know. He has to be an older man.
His name is Moon.
Moon?
Moon.
It sounds like a villain from a horror movie.
Yeah, and
His
he's
name
like,
is
oh,
Moon.
you're going to stay home for these next couple weeks, right? You want to be close to the hospital, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, do you want an
You were there for
epidural? Are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about... Kaja's Riemann just sits there with the straight face the whole time. Like, he tries to crack him.
What I notice is that they don't like when men are in the room.
They
and
don't.
They don't like
'Cause
when
then
men are around.
They can't say
kick certain
shit.
things.
Yeah.
And then if you ask certain questions, it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, then they'll
because
be like,
now they have to oh shit, be on guard
yeah,
very much.
Because they don't know what you're gonna say, and then they know you're not gonna stand for any bullshit.
Right.
What?
Yeah, like when I was first going to that other lady and she was asking about the blood, Kaja's Riemann was really the one asking all the questions. And she was like, you don't understand. Like you need to do this for your baby's health, even
So
at the
what
hospital.
were you asking? And what was she trying to kick? And what were you asking?
Well, I was asking like what exactly is the shots for? Like what do you need the blood for? And what are you testing for? Where does the blood go? Who tested? How did they test it? What are they looking for? And if they need to test it, why do they need to take so much? Because it doesn't really make sense. Because I even know, like, I've been in science class. If you just put one small thing under a microscope, I can tell you everything about that thing, right? So it's like, why do you need, like, all these pints of blood? Why do you need, like, 6, 7 vials? Like, where's it going? Like, who's it for?
And you were asking.
I'm asking all these kind of questions. And even what I've noticed is, like, they say, do you have any questions? But the questions that they want you to ask are kind of like, yeah,
What
time
are you working tomorrow?
yeah, like stupid
They want you to
questions.
ask dumb
Stupid
shit.
questions.
Yeah.
When you ask real questions that most people wouldn't ask, or questions that really, really make them have to explain what's going on, they don't like that. They definitely don't like that. The doctor even came in and was like, "Oh, I heard you guys were asking a lot of questions."
Yeah, because they wanted me to sign some contracts for going to the hospital. And they were like, oh, yeah, you need to put your signature just on this line. I'm like, what is this contract? Like, what does it say? Can I have a copy of it? Are you going to explain it to me? She's like, oh, yeah, if you want to know more about it, I can explain it. But it's just like, you expect people to just come in here and just sign things without telling them
But that's
what it's about.
That's because that's what most people do.
Yeah, because I mean, they trust the doctors.
Yeah, well, I don't. And I was asking a bunch of questions, and they were like, oh, so I see you have a lot of questions today. I'm like, yeah, like, what are you trying to make me sign up for? Because once you
initiate, bitch,
right? Because once you sign something, it's like you're kind of binded to it. So I don't want to agree to anything that I don't even know what I'm agreeing to. Yeah, so I got a printout that day of every visit that I ever had at that doctor, and they were acting very weird about it. They were like, "Why do you need this information? You shouldn't need this, blah, blah, blah."
Oh, so they didn't want to give it to you.
No.
It's your information, though.
Right.
It's not like you're requesting somebody else's information.
Right. They're like, oh, we can send it to another doctor if that's why you need it. And I basically had to, like, push for it in order to get it.
But they couldn't deny it.
No, they can't deny it.
Well, they're going to act like they can deny it.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, that's because most people just don't know. Or most people don't give them that extra push, you know. So they basically take advantage of anybody. That's what I got from all these visits. Like, if you're not somebody who's like thinking like that, they're gonna just take advantage of you, and anything goes.
I mean, especially if you're buying into everything that they're presenting. Like, especially if you're just like, oh yes, Dr. Moon, yeah, tell me more about what I need to do. Then you're just gonna listen to everything they say to you. And
they try to kick like 5 vaccines already.
Yep.
To the baby.
To me.
To you?
And the baby.
And the baby, yeah.
What kind of vaccines?
I don't even know. They was like, oh, we have this type of vaccine that'll help you with the, in case the baby comes out with anything that you have, or you can contract to them during labor.
Well, like
and
what?
it's like GBS or something. I forgot what they said it was. And I was like, oh,
they
so.
just make shit up.
Yeah, basically.
GBS?
Basically. And they give you a bunch of tests. I had to drink like a glucose drink or something like that.
Which don't make no sense, right? Because they're testing for gestational diabetes?
Yeah,
or whatever.
But they give you sugar to test for it.
So then what, they spike you with sugar to see the way that your blood sugar reacts?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Exactly.
Absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which they could have checked by me just drinking like orange juice or
a Gatorade.
Like, yeah.
Gatorade.
Right. But they have this like specific drink, which probably they also make money off of, that they make.
Oh,
and
they
you
had
have
a
to
drink?
Yeah.
She was like, this is Moonade. Would you like some? And the OBGYN is like, yeah, that's my drink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope your OBGYN isn't watching this, because we're definitely making fun of them. Do you have to go back to this OBGYN?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, so don't send him this link. Because, yeah, I mean, the modern medical system is a business.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not surprising that they were trying to kick to you guys, like, all of this nonsense. Because they're just in it to make money, and then you're just another number or statistic. And then they're like, let's get this, let's get that, let's get this, let's get that. Because when we get it, then we're able to do this. And then we get the kickback, and then, you know, all of the contracts, the people that they look at. It's a business. So, like, a drug dealer, like, if you come around and you start you start fucking with my money and I'm a drug dealer, like, I'm going to be like, what you want?
Right.
What you need? Like, because I'm just looking at you like you fucking up my business. So I'm looking at you like, how do I get rid of you? Like, how do I make sure that you can't come around and fuck up my shit?
Right.
So it's not surprising that if you come around and start asking questions that they're like, nah.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a business, right? And I've noticed the modern medical system is very good at marketing. Very good. Because even when we're in the OBGYN, I noticed that the first time we went there, they didn't have this. Then we started going frequently. Then all of a sudden,
the holistic birth.
the pamphlet about holistic birth and holistic care came about.
So they're
out
like
of nowhere.
attacking holistic birthing.
But here's the thing. Then on the pamphlet is a black woman who's pregnant like this.
It's like Henista. It's like they're like, how did that get there?
Right. And then
They probably only put it there when I
on
come.
top of that, they have a logo where it's like, you know, like those African like
They're
shaded
like
logos.
These African
Yeah.
Negras are coming very
Yeah.
soon. Let's make sure we get one of those pamphlets out there.
Yeah. But and then they market these things to you, but the thing is, it's not holistic. At least as we know, it's holistic.
Right.
When we talking about holistic.
It's the OBGYN Dr. Moon showing up with like a mustache. And he's like, yes, of course.
does have a mustache.
I'm your no, he shaves it. He puts on another mustache. He's like, I'm your holistic doctor son.
And then they always get the black nurse to be the one to take my blood
the
or
Jamaican
whatever.
lady. The
Like
Jamaican
anything
lady.
that they want to
Yeah.
make me do, they send her
send the
in there
Jamaican lady?
to tell me about
But
it.
She's
the
like,
funny
why
thing
you don't
is,
want no
she
blood
told
pressure
us.
check, huh?
You know what's funny? She told us that's why they send her all
Yeah.
the time. It's
Uh-huh.
like, oh,
She said it?
because
They was like, they
because
know
they
you
know
like
you guys
me.
like me.
Yeah.
Oh, she said that?
Yeah.
Yo, because you know she's down. She's like, I'm just here to collect my paycheck. How's my Jamaican accent, by the way?
It's
pretty
terrible.
horrible. It's horrible.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, but they're really
Haters.
just big manipulators. Like,
Yeah.
and like, I'm not dumb, but I play dumb because I don't want to obviously get a CPS case. So
I was expecting you to be in there like, fuck you. Like, you don't be coming in here asking me no
but
questions.
people like that, that's who they track down.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's good that you're not. doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because like, you know,
Anissa's in there like, let me get a second opinion.
I'm so fake. I'm so fake.
No,
I'll
but it's-
ask him like, oh
don't
yeah, an
give-
induction. That sounds like a good
Time out,
idea.
time out.
Like,
Stop. Because you're on
I'll
camera.
think about it.
You're on camera.
what?
So don't give away all the game.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
give away all the game because, you know, you don't want them to see this and then.
That's true.
Yeah, so don't give away all the game.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. Because, you know, you haven't hit the finish line yet. So you don't give away all the game. You don't know if Dr. Moonshine is watching this. So, you know, let's hold it
I mean, he knows
together.
my government name. I don't
Oh,
think
he
he'd be able
does?
to find me.
Oh, he's not going to be able
on
to find you?
this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're going to put like hashtag government. I'm not even
Right.
going to say your government name. 'Cause
Right.
fuck you, Dr. Moon. But, like, in general, like, yeah, you know, just, you know, it is. Just be careful.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what they do. And that's how they treat people. And most people just go along with it. And it kind of surprises me, like, how much women just don't actually ask the questions that we ask. Because they act like it's like we're from another planet when we ask these questions.
Yeah, I mean, again, most people just don't know. And, you know, you got to understand we're coming from a different kind of context or a different understanding. But for most people, if you grow up in a society where all you see on TV is commercials with the doctor and the white coats and
And the
the
movies.
commercials and the movies.
General
and-
Hospital
Right, General
and-
Hospital, all these
yeah.
things, and them saving lives and then
As the
being
world
experts and
turns,
then being all these scientific,
Have you ever thought
eloquent
about-
people.
Have you ever thought about like the way that Hollywood kicks like propaganda for the modern medical system
Of course.
and like fire departments and police and like Law and Order, like General Hospital, Grey's Anatomy, like all of these like shows where like they humanize this highly sterile, colonial centric just like danger. And then they're like, well, I love Grey's Anatomy. Like, it's so hard because look at all the sacrifices and all this kind of stuff. And then you watch Law and Order, and then you're like, yeah, lock up that person that did this and lock up that. And then you become like, you centered around nationalism and just like this like bullshit. Like, do you guys not notice that?
No, yeah.
No, for a fact.
Especially how they portray like birth in the movies, and a lot of people have said like it's actually not like that. Like the woman screaming the whole time and all of that. It's like exaggerated, and it puts this thought in your head that that's what you should expect, and that you need the hospital basically to save you in order to have like a smooth birth or a smooth delivery.
They're always trying to pressure people when they go to the hospital.
Right.
To do C-sections.
Right.
Which has spiritual ramifications because you can...
Which
you
they
can
mentioned today.
I was born by C-section.
Oh, you were? I mean, you can you can fix it. You can fix it. Calm down. You can fix it, but C-sections become a problem because of the fact that you're not actually going through the channels or the canal that you need to go through.
You're not born, you just came.
Well, it's like not coming through the front door. It's like coming through the window. And then it's like bruh man. It's kind of showing up like bruh man.
Right.
Like where you're just kind of like,
flow.
bruh, where'd you come from? And he's like, what?
Sup?
Yeah.
Sup, mom?
Yeah, like
Get something to eat.
yeah. And you're like, how'd you get here? And then it's like,
Ooh. Technical difficulties.
I've been here. Like, but it's like that. It's like that's the way. It's cool.
I mean, a lot of women who have had C-sections, they said how traumatic the experience was because they'll say something like, oh, your vaginal canal is too narrow, or your baby's heart rate is too high, or your heart is too high, and your baby's going to die, or you're going to die if you don't get this C-section.
They always tell people that you're going to die.
And you're already in like a state where you're kind of like not all the way there and not able to make the best decisions.
They take advantage of you.
And if you hear your baby's gonna die, you're gonna die. You're just like, okay, do whatever you have to do to save my baby's life or my life, and that's how they get people to get them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they get you is that they like use fear tactics, and then they hit you with certain fear things. You can be like, your baby's gonna die. Like, well, you're gonna die. Aren't you afraid?
But it's like, how do you know that though? Really?
They don't know. But then that's what they tell you, because then they're like, we know. Like, there was a lady here last week. She didn't listen to us and she died.
Right.
Because of the fact that she has preeclampsia. And do you have preeclampsia? Have you been checked for preeclampsia?
Right.
They're like, can we get somebody in here to do some preeclampsia tests? And then they start doing and then you're like, preeclampsia? Like, I'm going to die? My baby's going to die? And then you start freaking out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, your baby and you. Do you know? You don't know about that?
And you
They're
think about it, that's an even more stressful birth for the woman and for the baby itself. Because if you're not, relaxed, or if you're in a state of distress or in an emotional state, then of course labor is going to be hard. That's why you might see like a lot of women in this day and age have like 48 hours of labor or like 3 days in labor type stuff because
fucking up the whole production.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
No, but that's also because of the way that they set it up. Like, first, they'll tell you, okay, you should get an induction. And that makes your contractions, like, times 10 worse. Times 10% worse, right? Because it's like forcing labor. And then they'll be like, the pain is so bad, you should get an epidural. And then that basically like slows down the heart rate of the baby, slows down the labor. And then they're like, the baby's not coming.
I thought that was for pain. I thought the epidural was for pain.
It is. It's supposed to numb the pain, right? But it also numbs everything.
It numbs the baby too?
Yeah, it affects the baby. It's going in your body. It's like going in your spine. Damn. Yeah, so now the baby's like kind of lazy in a sense because it's it's been fed this medicine and it's not gonna want to come
They
out.
get the baby high. I didn't realize that they get the baby
basically.
high with the epidural.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
And then after
never
that,
given
they're
birth.
like, oh,
What'd you say? With the epidural, she can't feel the contractions.
She can't push.
she doesn't know when to push.
Exactly.
So it's like you're prolonging your
trap.
labor. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, the baby's not coming fast enough. It's taking too long. Let's get a C-section.
That's how they get you.
Oh. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So what Kenny Bachi was saying off camera is that the epidural numbs you to the point where you're unable to feel the contractions, and the contractions is what gives you the signal as a mom that you need to push, like the baby's trying to come. But if you're unable to sense the fact that there's contractions, then you don't know when to push, and then the baby doesn't come, and then they say to you, C-section time.
Right.
Exactly. And that's the big money.
Or they'll do like
surgery.
extreme things. Like they'll cut your vagina open.
What?
Yeah, they'll pull the baby out with like a instrument. Like there's
The
a tool that
head
grabs
clamp,
its
yeah.
head and just
How do
like
you know
pulls
about
it
this?
out.
Well, he's got one on the way. He's
Yeah,
got to
but, like,
research.
Yeah.
but,
Better.
but the way you gave us the you were like, yeah, it's like, it's like you been there, like.
That's how he was born. Nah, let me stop. Yeah, but they basically, it's just like they're on a time schedule type of thing. Like the doctor is like, okay, I'm trying to clock out by 10 p.m. So you need to have this baby by 9:50 or we going to have to cut you open.
Oh, so they're like, okay, if the baby's not here, so basically it's like, bitch, my shift is about to end.
Yeah.
And if the baby don't come, then we're gonna expedite this process and speed this shit up and cut you open.
Yeah, he
You
probably
ready,
got
bitch?
like 10 births that week. So if another one is coming, he probably, every time we go to the doctor, it's like, oh, we're booked for the week. We have to figure out a way to schedule you an appointment. So this man is like constantly seeing patients.
Dr. Moon.
Dr. Moon.
This motherfucking
He
guy.
probably has like over 50 patients. Like probably.
Dr. Moon.
Yeah. Because if you can't find a day in the week to see somebody and he only sees you for what, like 10 minutes?
Yeah, because he only sees you for it's basically the nurse that handles you. And then the doctor comes in for like 15 minutes and then they're like,
Just
you
to
good?
say hi.
Barely
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, and
Maybe
then they're
like
like,
2 minutes.
I'm out. And then they're on to the next. Going to the doctor is horrible. Every time, I don't go to the doctor anymore, but when I used to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor and you wait, like you got to give him at least 2 hours. You got an appointment at 12, you got to knock off at least, like you're out for at least till 2. Because the thing is that if you go and the doctor's running behind, then it's like you go, they check your vitals, they do all their protocols, they do all that stuff. They check your temperature, they check your vitals, they ask you questions, they ask for updates. And then what they do is then you wait there for 45 minutes. And you're waiting for the doctor. And you're like, where the hell is the doctor? Because then when the doctor comes in, he's like, you good? And then you're like, yeah,
Need
I'm
anything
good.
from the stove?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you good? Like, yeah, you want to hit this? And then they're like, all right, my nigga. Like, see you next week. And then that's it.
Yeah.
And then you're just you're like, so what took you so long? And then you realize that because they're packing as many people as they can into the schedule so that they are just seeing you for 15 minutes to be like, yeah, cool, we good. Now let's do this. Now let's do that. And then they're seeing maybe 30, 40 people a day. And then you're just another number to them. And then they're just going through the protocol. There's no actual legitimate diagnoses happening. They're just looking at you and they're like, oh yeah, it's this, it's that, it's this, because you just are. It's like when you're playing a video game and then you're there and then you're just like, yeah, you know. One of these comments says, first of all, why is it a man trying to tell you how to give birth?
Exactly. That's a red flag. That's a big red flag.
Okay, so like, so
because traditionally that would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a bunch of ladies.
It would
like,
be women.
Look, like, let me just be honest. Like, as a dude, like, a woman's giving birth, that's none of my business.
Right.
Like, I'm not around for
and
a
you
lady
guys
giving
probably
birth.
would not be able to
Like,
handle
what am I
it.
gonna do? No. Excuse me. We can handle it.
What do you mean by handle
choose-
it?
Yeah, we choose not to handle it.
Oh! I thought you meant something else.
Yeah.
What you mean handle it?
She's talking about handle it like we couldn't stomach it, or like
Some
we
men
wouldn't be
can.
able.
Okay,
to
maybe
be able
you
to-
guys can, but
Like,
some
nah.
men can't.
No, all men we choose not to. You know the way that like women have like that kind of like that agreement across time and space, where it's like you guys all function the same way. Like no matter if it's like the BC or the
What?
cavemen times.
What do
like,
you mean?
Women, come on. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
because
this is what
you're
I'm
not
talking about.
explaining.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, but you're about to
Yeah.
be labeled as a
Whatever.
What do they call it? A misogynist.
I don't care. We have those tactics too. Like we've adapted over time the same way you guys have adapted over time to know how to like manipulate men. Like we know how to like fight your manipulations as a gender because we've evolved over time also. So we know where we could be like, I can't handle the birth, because then you guys are like, oh, okay, I understand. It's fine. You don't have to be there. But then that's our way of getting out of being there. Like we don't actually, it's not that we can't handle the birth.
So
We don't want to be
My
there.
question is, why are you telling people this?
Why?
Yeah.
Because, like we need
Y'all
to we
stay
need
here.
to build bridges
Not here.
and get over the borders of the genders, okay? So I'm giving you guys a little bit of secrets because, we know about y'all's secrets.
I
We
don't
know
why
y'all.
you think we're manipulators.
Okay.
Pause.
like because
It's 2 against
do
1.
we have another
so-
topic on rapid fire there? Tutanen? Tutanen's like, no comment. Yeah. It's like fifth, plead the fifth. So before we devolve into gender warfare, it's like, the sad part is that like everything is a number in the modern medical system. So then you just become another number. And then you're there, like you're like, damn, I didn't go to work today. Like I couldn't have done this today. I couldn't have done that. All of this stuff, and then you're there, like making your whole doctor's appointment becomes like a trip. Like your day is centered around your doctor's appointment,
Literally.
and then the doctor is there, like, you need anything from the store,
Right.
and then just on to the next.
He drives a drop top BMW.
Dr. Moon.
Of course.
Dr. Moon.
Of course.
Dr.
And
Moon,
mind you,
man.
he's in an area where there's predominantly Hispanic and Black women. So he's like getting all these women that
Well, the
probably,
insurance company isn't like, are they black? Are
Right.
they white?
Right.
Are they Hispanic? The insurance company is like, cha-ching. They're just looking at you like, whatever.
Exactly.
And they probably put a premium on Black, Hispanic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Well, again,
minorities.
it even goes back to the placenta thing.
Uh-huh.
They want that money.
Exactly.
And as we know,
Ours
the organs
costs more.
of certain demographics of people
Bro, just say it with
costs
your
more.
chest, bro. We already I said it earlier in the
Yeah,
show.
it's not a secret, but Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, those organs cost money. So the placenta, it's an organ, costs some money. Normally,
and he said usually women do inductions.
exactly. And
Who,
He
everybody?
enforces, like he promotes inductions so they can have him deliver their baby.
if you notice, they always have those statistics where they have Black and Hispanic people as always susceptible to certain kind of like illnesses or certain like health issues and all that stuff, and they use those as their gateway tool to kind of market those kind of things to you when you're giving birth. It's like, oh, you're gonna have C-section because of this, because Black women are this, Black women are that, Hispanic
So you
women
might
are
as
this,
well just
Hispanic
hold
women
that
are that.
mic.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's over.
This is over. Let me just take it out. Give me a second.
Apologies.
No,
the-
we're not apologizing. Just give me a second.
You're breaking the whole.
No, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Oh my god.
But you know what's interesting?
Yeah, just y'all keep
You know what's
talking.
interesting
It's a
is that you
podcast.
said that he sees patients all throughout the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's always booked. He's always full.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when you have doctors who see so many patients, but then you
Now I
see
feel like this
all
shit's
these
gonna
patients.
come down from the ceiling. I'm gonna be like, let's get ready to rumble. Okay, keep going.
As
A
I was
heavy
saying,
ass mic.
it's funny you see all these patients. They get diagnosed and then they have to get all these different medications and all these different things, right? So it's like, if you see so many people throughout the week, and then you're just looking at these people like a number, and you're just pushing them through constantly, then you have like a standard sheet in which you have, okay, blood pressure has to be this has to be this has to be this, and then you're diagnosing people and giving them medication. What's the medication really for? Because you can't thoroughly diagnose anybody and give them the right proper thing that they need if you're just pushing things through like
What
that.
they're counting on is for you to communicate the side effects. So then they're like, let me know if this happens
So I can give you something else.
so I can give you something else. Because it's all about them covering their ass. It's all about liability. So then they're like, make sure you let me know. That's why when they start talking on the commercials for pharmaceuticals, then they get that motherfucker that can talk like, start rapping like Busta Rhymes or Twista.
That's how you do your chant.
And then
I was like, has he ever thought about doing auctions?
like, you know what's funny is I went to high school in
I was
Texas,
like,
right?
dude, what is he saying?
I went to-
35, 35, 35, 35, 35,
I went to high school
I
in
was the
Texas.
first time I really sat
Yeah.
this close to him. I was like,
I went to high school in Texas, and we went to an auction one time where they do that for real. Like, the guy be like,
Yeah.
35, 25, I got 29. Blah, blah, blah.
you could do it.
And then I was sitting there, and this is when I think this is the first time I discovered I had like talent in the performing world. Is I was outside of the car, and my sister was inside the car, and my sister was visiting from Sudan, because this is my sister that lives in Sudan, and she's in the car, and I'm outside of the car. I was in like middle school, and I walked outside of the car, and then I started imitating the auction guy, like the guy is like 25, 35, 95, blah, 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 blah. And then my sister started laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? She's like, you.
This guy didn't even know.
And then I was like, why? And she was like, because of what you're saying, like because of what you're doing. Like like you sound like that guy over there. And then I was like, wow. Like I was like,
That's when the light bulb went off.
No, the light bulb didn't. Nah, it didn't even go off at that point, because I was just like, whatever. I was like, I just was imitating the auction guy. But that's a side note, an anecdote, a useless anecdote that goes nowhere. Just here to tell you, like, yes, I know I could do auctions.
You
So,
could. For real.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, that's why one time I had to tell everybody, I'm like, I know I can do it fast, but you don't have to do it fast.
Right.
Like, you don't have to chant as fast as I do, because the way that I'm chanting is not, like, I can chant that way because I'm saying it fully. Like, you're probably not saying it fully. Like, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about whoever, but like, I'm saying it in its entirety. So yeah, Anyway.
I thought I was saying the wrong shit. I was saying.
No, but if you notice, that's the first time where I actually go at the pace I could do it. Like, it doesn't take me more than like 20 minutes. Like, that's a long time. Because it's like 20 minutes or more, that's a long time. Because I'm just like, like, some people be there like, Imran, Wisser, Imran. And then you're just there like, bruh, like, your purity is over. It's finished. It was finished after the first set of chants.
Learn about Zemzem at the Earth Center.
Yeah, I mean,
because nobody knows.
no one knows what we're talking about. Who
at
cares?
all.
Who cares? We're talking about a serious topic. They're trying to cut you open. Modern medical system is all lies.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, like up until the date that I'm supposed to deliver. It's like he's trying to build this relationship, and it's just not there. Like
Who, Dr. Moon?
yeah, it's like very awkward. And he comes in,
Dr. Moon.
and Kajazim is just looking at him with a straight face, and he's like, "You have any questions?" With like this big smile.
How much you weigh, Sam? Like 115 pounds?
120.
Like 120? Like 120? Okay. So what do you, like,
know-
how
you
big
know-
is Dr. Moon?
You
He's
know,
huge.
here's
Is
the
he,
thing.
is he fat?
He's big.
Is it like morbidly obese?
Yeah.
How can you take advice from somebody that's morbidly obese?
Exactly. Like,
You know
why
what's
would
funny?
I trust you?
You know what's hilarious? I have an uncle, right?
Yeah.
My uncle Caven.
Caven?
Yeah, Caven. Not Kevin, Caven.
Caven.
I don't know who named him.
K-A-V-I-N?
Kaven. I don't know who named him.
Caven.
That's his name.
Say,
So-
say it, man.
Oh my god.
This guy, he's a pretty big guy. Uncle Caven's a pretty big guy.
How big are we talking?
He's not as
He's
big
big.
as Dr. Moon though.
No, he's
Have
not,
you met Uncle
He's not
Caven?
I
fat.
have. Yeah.
Where
He's
is
not
he?
fat.
Where's Uncle Caven?
He's in Brooklyn.
He's in Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Can
he's-
you stop
Why have
saying
we
it like
never met
that?
Uncle Caven?
Oh, Uncle Caven's.
He's an
you know the guy
initiate.
whose Bible I burned?
Yeah, that's him.
That's that uncle.
Why would you do it to him? Why would you do that to Uncle
Because
Caven?
we were arguing about
He
spirituality.
sounds like such a nice man.
Yeah, sure.
But he's
Yeah,
been
sure.
initiated into something though.
Who, Uncle Caven?
Yeah.
He's a
for
priest.
sure.
He's a whole priest.
The Bible?
No.
Why was he mad about, like...
Long story. But anyway.
See, everybody thinks I'm an instigator. This guy is an instigator.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't just say
I
you burn
wouldn't even
Bibles and not
burn, like,
explain.
That's so, like, yeah, this guy's out here burning people's Bibles. I
I was a
wouldn't
very-
burn someone's
Pastors.
Bible.
He's a pastor.
He's a pastor?
too,
I was a
yeah.
very
Uncle
angry man.
Caven's
He's a pastor.
Uncle Angry Man.
I was a very angry man. But anyway, my Uncle Caven, right? He went to the doctor. And he went to go see about like losing some weight. Cause you know, he's not fat, but he's a big guy.
So
He
he's
got a little
fat?
belly. He's just a
Bro,
big guy.
don't clean
He's
it
not
up.
fat.
He's not here.
He's not fat.
He's
He's
not
not
Nah,
fat.
watch
he's not.
this.
No, he's not fat.
So
He's
then-
just big.
So what? So then how do
But
you
he-
say he's big? What does that mean?
What do you mean? Like you're big, right?
Yeah.
You consider yourself a big guy.
Yeah.
Uncle Caven's bigger than you.
He's bigger than me?
He's bigger than you, but he's not fat.
Like in my 30s, I've started to get fat.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say you're fat though. When
Yeah.
I say somebody's fat, I mean they got rolls coming
You mean
all
like
over the place.
you mean like my 600-pound girlfriend fat?
no? That's obese.
So
That's
like what's
beyond
fat?
What's fat?
Yeah.
All right, what's fat?
We need to get to the bottom
Like
of
you
this.
see,
okay?
like from
Like
Precious
2018.
Yeah, exactly. From like Precious is like a
2018
7.
Queen Latifah's fat.
That's not fat, bro.
That's not fat.
No, that's not fat. No.
to Queen Latifah. Is
Queen
fat.
Latifah.
That's fat. That's
What?
fat, bro.
Yeah, she's
You're
This
fat.
is
That's
why.
fat.
No, that's not
Latifah's
fat.
is a chubby chaser.
I'm not a
You know what?
chubby
You know.
chaser.
Forget it. Anyway, back to what I'm
Actually,
saying.
Like, Queen
I
Latifah,
actually
she look
have
good.
like,
She
I
ain't
actually
fat.
have like an aversion to fat people, so I'm like actually quite discriminatory against fat people. But if you think I'm a chubby chaser, I'm not. I'm actually like a fat shamer.
Anyway, like I was saying, my uncle, right? He's a big
Uh-huh.
guy. He's like you, but bigger. Not
Okay,
fat
okay,
though,
okay, uh-huh.
right? So he went to the doctor. He's trying to get some advice on how to lose some weight, you know, fix the cholesterol or whatever. So the doctor that comes in turns out to be this 300-pound man.
What?
So my uncle looks at him and he says, "So, are you the doctor?" And then he says, "Yeah." So my uncle got his jacket, got his stuff, and walked out. I'm not taking
Wow.
advice from you.
It's true, because one time I went to the doctor, right? And then I was like, this is in my like early 20s, and I've always had like onset of like a belly, right? And I'm in my like early 20s. No, it's true. I don't give a shit like about my I'm not out here like I have a belly. Oh my God. One time this lady was like, you have a belly. I'm like, bitch, you're fat. Like, you don't get to tell me that I have a belly because you're fat, bitch. So,
Dang.
the doctor, no chill. So the doctor walks in, and then he's like, it was a physical. And he's like, oh, you know, you kind of have a belly. I'm looking at this motherfucker. This motherfucker got a belly bigger than me. He looks pregnant. And he's like, yeah, you got a belly. You should watch out for that. And I was kind of like, are you serious right now? Like, you have a huge fucking belly. And you're telling me that I need to watch out for my belly? Like, I don't.
Well, he's telling you from experience.
Yeah, but I don't want.
This
I
is
don't
where
want
he
to
went
know.
wrong.
Yeah, I can't listen to you. Like if if somebody that was like completely physically fit and he's like, you need to watch out for the belly, I'm gonna be like, I'll do better. I will work on myself and I will do better. But that guy, I'm like, you're fat. Like, you don't get to tell me not to have a belly when your belly is bigger than mine. Like, so like, what do you like? No, you go work out. Like, you go cut your belly
Like,
fat.
this ain't about me. Run
Yeah,
the
exactly.
check.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Come back again.
I mean, which really proves a point, though. I mean, you don't have to actually be healthy to be a doctor. You don't have
At
to
all.
live that lifestyle.
None of them are healthy, honestly, probably.
They're not. Why would they be healthy?
They all have smoke breaks. How healthy can you be?
Well, I mean, doctors are notorious for, like, people that go to medical school know, like, how, like, have you ever heard that joke where there's a bunch of students on a plane, and then the pilot is like, I would like to make an announcement. I have my classmates and my teacher on this plane. And then all of the students that were in the class together for the pilot school get up and start running because they know their compatriot, they know their colleague, and they're like, oh, God, he doesn't know how to fly a plane. And the only person that doesn't get up and run away is the teacher. And then they ask the teacher, and they're like, why didn't you get up and run away? And he's like, because I know my students, and this plane will never leave the ground. And it's that kind of like thing where it's like, that's what you're dealing with. Like, you're dealing with that kind of stuff where it's sort of like, if you know and you go to medical school and you know other medical professionals, like, because in my early 20s, I used to work for Delta. And when I used to work for Delta, I was a flight attendant. And so you guys want to know something scary about flying? Like being on a plane?
Not really. Maybe not.
Well, it's too late because that's where we're going.
I'm like, damn.
So if a fire happens, you know why they're so stringent about smoking on a plane? Because you're in a vacuum. So what do you think happens in a vacuum when a fire starts?
Right. It's going to explode.
It doesn't explode. It's pressurized. The cabin is pressurized. So that means that there's no way to put out that fire because of the, I mean, it's not that there's no way to put out the fire.
Oh.
The most dangerous part of the fire is the smoke. Like,
nowhere for it
everybody
to go.
knows that the most dangerous part of a fire, like
Right.
firemen know that the most dangerous part of a fire is the smoke. It's not the actual like flames. Now, that's when you're dealing with an open environment. But because you're in a vacuum, there's nowhere for the smoke to go. So they had us listen to a black box, which is a recording device in a plane, of a plane where there was a fire in the plane and the pilots were unable to see or distinguish between the sky and the ocean. So the plane crashes
What?
because the pilots were unable to distinguish between the ocean and the sky.
I have so many questions.
But that's
Because
on
of-
two separate sides of like.
No, because you have to understand that next time you're getting on a plane, look at the cockpit, and your vision is limited. You understand that they're not relying on their eyes; they're relying on air traffic control.
Wow.
So like,
didn't know
there's somebody in their ear like, turn 2 degrees, 3 degrees, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. That's how planes don't crash into each other. That's why next time you go to the airport and then they're like, we're in holding pattern. That's because you have to rely on the people telling you what strip to land on, you know, what gate to pull up to, all of that stuff, yada yada yada. So anyway, the only line of defense that you have on the plane, in terms of any emergency, in terms of any problem that arises, is the flight attendant. Now, that means you have to know how to do CPR. You have to know how to put out a fire. You have to understand the difference between the different types of fires and how to put them out. you have to understand all the emergency equipment. So people look at flight attendants and then they're like, okay, it's just a bunch of gay dudes or it's just like a bunch of middle-aged white women, and then that's all you take them for. But in actuality, the flight attendant is like, if anything happens on that plane, the flight attendant is literally the person that's going to keep you alive. And going through flight attendant training is a very long story that has a very poignant point, which is going through flight attendant training. There are some people that if you knew how incompetent they are, you would not get on a fucking plane. Like, because if you knew how stupid they are, like, because you have to understand, like, that's why, you know, it becomes a big deal when you open a door on a plane and then the slide deploys, because that slide is like thousands of dollars. And then the FAA is going to fine you thousands of dollars. Like, you're not even supposed to, they can even track you using your phone in the air as a flight attendant. Like, that's how stringent it is. Like, you can get fired. Like, you ever seen a flight attendant sitting on the jump seat? The jump seat is like that little seat that they have when you're taking off or landing. If you ever see a flight attendant sleeping on a jump seat and you report them, they get fired. Finished.
Wow.
They get fired and you get fined. End of story. No question about it. So if you ever have like a hateful gay flight attendant and you want to retaliate against them, and then they like they've explored every avenue to discriminate against you, like, just catch that gay flight attendant sleeping, and then you can then report them, and then you're good to go. Yes,
Valuable information.
Yes,
I'm
valuable
like, have
information.
you
Very
been
valuable.
in this situation?
No, I mean, you know, because flight attendants, it's like we had a saying in the flying world where TSA are like kids with badges. Like, you guys are telling me you've never come across like
they
TSA.
Go hard.
TSA goes hard
They go
because
hard.
you know the requirements
Like,
to
if
work
you
at
have
TSA.
a water
right?
bottle, throw it out.
I've actually went.
There
to,
are none.
There are none. What do you mean there are none?
Nigga, meaning anybody can be TSA.
Oh, you just gotta take a test, right?
Yeah.
Because I went for the test.
And you failed?
Yeah, I failed. I failed horribly.
That was, I wasn't setting you up to say that. I don't know why you
Why?
took that opportunity to come out and tell us.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I failed. Let me tell you why I failed though. I didn't fail because of incompetence though. I failed because when there's a portion of the test where you have to like look through an X-ray. You know they put your bags through the scanner. It's like an X-ray thing, and you gotta identify the stuff that's
So
in
they
it.
show you like a dildo in a bag, and they're like, "What is this?" And you were like, "I don't know."
No, I don't know why you went there. Or why did your mind go there?
because
Why
so
did your
okay,
mind
what
go
did you fail at in terms of
No.
identifying the X-ray?
No, what it was I honestly
Like, is that a
at that
cucumber
moment,
or a dildo? And you're like, I don't know.
What?
Okay, huh?
No, at that moment though, when the X-ray part came about, I just looked at it and I was like, I don't really feel like doing this, because why am I sitting here trying to identify these things, and I just didn't answer the questions,
what was
so I
it?
failed.
What was it in the
They don't tell you what it is.
What was it in the bag?
They don't tell what it is. It's if you find like a sharp object or an object that's like abnormal, then you click on it, and then you can say, oh, it might be a knife or it's this or it's that. And I just didn't feel like doing it, so I just failed on purpose.
So we've gone completely off topic.
Very.
Wait, what
And-
was the point of the airport story? The pilot.
like
I mean,
how
the flight
incompetent
attendant.
doctors are.
Oh, right.
Like, there are
right.
so many people that know how like incompetent certain people are, because all you got to do is get through the certification part, and then you can go start your own practice, and you could be a complete fucking idiot, and then you could be out there just like doing so many malpractice. But as long as you follow your protocols and you make sure that liability can't be traced back to you, you're good to go.
Right.
So I mean, it's just a story that highlights like most people that know, like within the medical world, they know like how incompetent their colleagues are. And
wasn't there a kid, an 18-year-old kid who got
yeah, I saw that
arrested
like
for
multiple times,
opening up
Yeah.
his own office
And he
like,
was fronting
having
like
his
he
own
was
practice.
a doctor. Yeah, he was fronting like he was a doctor. So the modern medical system is a sham. It's a scam, and they're only in it for money. And there's so much nonsense out there. But before we end, there were a few questions in the chat that some people had, right? So someone was asking, hold on, let me see. Someone was asking, elaborate on animal taboos. So
Who asked that?
when you're born, time and space are not constructs that come from human beings. So that means that when you're born, time and space is relegated or is overseen by entities that are beyond human comprehension. So our ancestors, during the time of the great ancestors, through their countless research and countless, studies and learning process and, submitting to nature and mastering nature, they were able to figure out that every unit of time is overseen by a divine entity. And that means that when you're born, this is where they get the basis of astrology from. When you're born, there are certain energies present. So because there's certain energies present, it will dictate the composition that becomes who you are as a human being, therefore will be. So that means that, they come up with like Leo, right? The sign Leo, which is, I think, in August, right? But then we know that that is a knockoff of the Neteru Hakaru, which is a female Neteru that has the head of a lion. So that's where they get the Leo from. And then like Serket, which is a female Neteru, which has a symbolism of a scorpion. That's where they get the, Scorpio sign from. And
they meaning the Greeks.
They meaning the Greeks, right? So because we know that there are certain energies or certain entities that overrule or oversee time at any given moment, when you're born, we know that your spirit has to travel from one dimension to another dimension. So it's known within the Dogon temples that a Neteru is responsible for overseeing that spirit traveling from the spirit world into the physical world. So when we say animal taboos, the way you pay homage to that entity overseeing the travel from your spirit going from the non-material world or the spirit world into the physical world is you adopt that entity's taboos, which means that if you're born under the sign of Serket and then she has certain animals that she favors, you will not consume those animals. Now, we understand this to be very simple. In order to be born, you have to die. In order to die, you have to be born. It's a never-ending concept of dualism. It's a never-ending principle of dualism that you cannot escape throughout the existence. And our ancestors were very practical and pragmatic in terms of approaching the existence and being able to figure these things out. It's a very intricate process. I'm only touching on it a little bit and kind of giving like a little bit of a context, but this is something that we go in depth with in terms of the initiation. So I'm not going to get into it all right now, but that's just a little itty bitty taste. But there's many lectures you can find on Vimeo. There's many resources that you can get. You can get the Philosophy Podium, Edition 3. It's up here. I know you probably can't see it. You can get the calendar. You can get the Book of Purifications. There's so many things you can read, so many resources. You can join initiation. You can learn more and all of that stuff. And the other question was, elaborate on skin is different than blood. I think this was.
When did you say that?
I said that earlier when this
we
guy
were talking
was
about the
Marmalukes.
Oh.
So we. Okay. All right. Let me take it there. Right. Shout out to who asked this question.
Do you want your water?
DeMarcus? No, it's okay. We're about to end. Skin is different than blood. You want it. I thought you were asking me like, do I want it? I was like, oh, that's so nice of you. I was like, no, we're about to end. I'll be fine. But you're like, give me that drink.
It's hot.
So it is hot. So can you elaborate on skin is different than blood if there's time? Yes. Shout out to DeMarcus. There is time. Okay. So look at me, right? I'll use myself as an example. What would you quantify me as or classify me as?
Mexican.
A Pacific Islander.
Mexican. See, already it's starting. Pacific Islander, Mexican, Middle Eastern, Arab, Dominican, Puerto Rican, mixed. You can't really tell, right? So because you can't really tell, then you're not really sure on like how to approach me culturally, right? Like growing up in America, it's so interesting because I always remember people would be like, "Oh, she's Irish Catholic. Oh, she's Jewish. She's Ashkenazi Jew." Right? Or they'd be like, oh, she's a WASP. She's Italian, blah, blah, blah. Right? And I never understood what people were referring to when they used those kind of things, like why they would include that in conversations until I got older. And then I understood that the world is a marketplace of ideas, which means you can find anything. And the only way where you feel like you can start to get a grasp on the world is when you attempt to start define it, right? So that means like, oh, okay, well, blacks function like this. Whites function like that. Italians function like this. Jews function like that. Muslims function like that. Arabs function like that, right? So we can only deal with what we see in front of us. That's why movies are so powerful, because we believe what we see, which means monkey see, monkey do. You see it in front of you, you think it's possible. You see the Flash running at the speed of light, you're like, that's possible, right? Whatever it is, Transformers, Avatar, blah, blah, blah. So we have a fascination and a fixation on the skin, which means if you take me at face value, then you'll be like, oh, this guy is that, or this guy is this, so on and so forth. Now, there's a lot of white people walking around that have African blood. There's a lot of Africans walking around with dark skin that have European blood, because the pigmentation of the skin can change across generations depending upon who you're fucking and who you're procreating with, right? So it's easy. Right? It just takes 3 generations for the skin tone to change. And I'm using myself as an example because my parents are from Africa. I'm from Africa. And when you look at my father's father, he's darker than him. He's like dark. Now, within 2 generations, I'm light-skinned. But my ancestors, when we're looking at the blood of my ancestors, we're talking about African blood. But if I don't tell you that, you'll just take me at face value and you'll think I'm this or you think I'm that, right? So the way in which we track things is not through the skin, it's through the blood. You could be a white person and you could hate black people, but you have black blood. And then you're literally just cursing yourself. You could be a black person and you hate white people and you're cursing yourself because you have white blood. So there's a difference between the skin and the blood. The blood, nothing changes. But the outward appearance can change and can be altered. Look at Michael Jackson.
Wait,
you can't tell me.
That's something different.
Yeah, it's something different, but it just shows you like how you can't tell me that Michael Jackson's kids are his biological kids because he has a black
All them
penis.
White kids?
Those white kids, exactly.
No,
Yeah,
they're not. They're
no.
adopted.
Those aren't his kids. They're adopted.
Mm-mm.
But then there's some people that say that's biologically his kids.
No, they're not.
There's no way.
Thank you. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought him up. I wasn't talking about Michael Jackson, actually.
I'm like, hold up.
Yeah, no. It was like, that's the thing, is you can change the skin tone, and the skin tone can change over generations, but the blood, that never changes. And what's in the blood can't be changed. What's in the blood, it is what it is, and it has to be passed down. And that comes from the father. It doesn't come from the mother. You don't get your blood taboos, all of the things that's in the blood, the culture, the history of your ancestors, where they're coming from, what your ancestors did, what they were able to achieve. You don't get that from the mom per se. The mom gets that from her father, but it's not passed down through the mom. It's passed down through the father. So this is, again, like another Spark Notes explanation. I'm not going to get into all of it. I don't want to be rude. We have some elders here, and we're going to attend to them. So it's been another episode of the Gated Gates podcast. We have a lot of stuff going on. Check out dogonwisdom.com, Kebtah-newjersey.org, risingfirefly.org. Check out the events that we have going on. dogonwisdom.com. You can check out all of the events. We have a bunch of events coming up. We have a retreat in upstate New York and Salt Point, New York. You check that out, Dogon Wisdom. You can check out all of the events that we have going on in the New York City area. We have book readings coming up. We have lectures coming up. Check it out, Kebtah-nj.org. Check it out. There's so many things you can get involved with and look at. It's been another episode of the Gated Gates podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We know you could be doing anything else, but you're here with us. We appreciate you. And we hope to see you next week. It's been Henista Heqwabti and
Kajazreem inside Kebtah.
And Henista Heqwabti.
Idiadu.